Well, folks, what's happening? Welcome to Mentality Monsters episode 2. So our next guest has played for Giants, Aston Villa. He's also came to the League of Ireland, played for the likes of Derry and Galway, and now he's back in the Irish League with Cliftonville. So this guy has played for the likes of Declan Rice, Jack Grealish, Abondahor and Joe Cole. Now a UEFA coach, a business owner, and highly regarded as, if not the best player in the Irish League. This here is the Rory Hale story.
This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up, yeah. Shoot 'em a shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Taking no else, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Who running the game?
Well, folks, what's happening? I'm Caine here from Mentality Monsters, and today we've got Rory Hale, who's came in to join us. So, Rory, see, when I first came up with this idea for the podcast, there was 3 people that came to mind first straight away, and you were, well, the second one on that there. So this will be coming out as episode 2, but this is actually the first recording, so it's the big one. So cheers for coming on. Anyway, Raz. So I'm going to start off here, just basically where it all started with you. Just tell us a bit about yourself and where you came from.
I was, you know me, from no age, football always with me. Started off playing for St Pat's from about 7 or 8, and after a year there, took myself to Cliftonville, and then played for Cliftonville all the way through to I was maybe 15, and then went from Aston Villa to there.
Happy days. I actually didn't know about that St Pat's one. That's a bit mad. New Lodge.
Played a few years up. I think I was playing up against 94, so that would have been 2 years up. So wasn't too bad.
So when you went the Reds, because obviously I know your story and stuff like that there, was there expectation on you just because, again, who your granddad was and the level he played at?
No, I don't think so. It was just, I had a good manager under Dara Teague, who absolutely loved me, and he got the best out of me every week. And I was just firing goals in left, right and centre all the way up till I got my shot in England.
So originally you started off, was it as a striker?
Aye.
Yeah. So see, at that level, were you considered probably one of the best players at your age when you were in that Cliftonville team?
Oh, aye, definitely. It was probably the best, aye.
Was there anybody there who's kind of went on to make a career, say, in the Irish League or even further afield, who was in their team at the time?
Played with Cameron Dummigan, Dukes, who was probably the best player at that age group growing up. He went on to Burnley. He's now at Derry City, so he's had a good solid career, to be fair to him.
I remember seeing him actually at TV, and I was calling him John Dougley. And he's like, it's Cameron. I was like,
Dukes was an absolute idiot. His name was Cameron Dummigan, but told everybody his name was John Dougley. That's just something fella.
That's mad. So, see, your first introduction into international football, would that have been when you were at Cliftonville?
Aye, so I think the first crack at Northern Ireland was under 16s, which was preparation for the Victory Shield.
I actually remember that there. I think they had the England game on Sky Sports at the time.
Done my cruise at that game. Done my cruise at that game live on Sky. I was out for a year after that. That was brutal.
Is that there the one that remember? I remember taking a video of you scoring the free kick. And I put it on YouTube years ago, and then I don't know where it is now, but I think it was one of your first games back.
That was my first game back after a full year out. All the boys were up at Solitude.
Good introduction back.
And I think that was actually for the 18, so I was playing a few years up.
Class. See, when you were playing at Cliftonville, was there much clubs interested from abroad? No, like in terms of England or Scotland?
There was clubs interested, but never really bit the bullet to take me over until maybe Newcastle. Newcastle took a chance on me and brought me over, scored a few goals over there, and then once the Milk Cup game, I think I finished top goal scorer in the Milk Cup, and then the clubs came flooding in after that.
Class. The Milk Cup out there's, well, obviously for people who don't know, it's probably one of the premium tournaments in like the UK and Ireland.
It's one of the biggest, and has been the biggest over the last 20, 30 years. The amount of players that's came through that. You know, Man United come every year. You know, Rashford and all was in that.
Beckham.
Everybody is
lads.
came to the Milk Cup and absolutely loved it. It's now called the Super Cup, but it's still a great platform for kids to put themselves in the shop window.
So see dealing with that there, because obviously on top goal scorer in the Milk Cup, international footballer, flying at Cliftonville on trial. Was there an expectation in your mind? Did you think, fuck here, I've got to make a go at this here?
Nah, I didn't care. I just went out and played football. I just went out and I didn't care who I was up against. I just went out and I was going to be the best player on the pitch. And that's the way, even in school football, and you know, you've been to them games, I just went out and just played my football. I didn't care who was up against or what team we were playing against. We always went out to win the games, and that's what I done. And I went out to score goals, and that's what I done.
Class. At their school team was actually, that was a good team there, like the likes of Brett and stuff like that there, Pierce, Marty Coyley.
And I think we won 3 or 4 trophies in the 5 years we were together. And like you say, we all played for Cliftonville, we all played for local teams, we all actually played at a good standard, so it was good football going out. You weren't playing up against shade players, or you know, you were playing with decent players, and you were always going to get a good crack at the cups.
Enjoying your football, especially at a young age, like, because I'd say there is like kids out there that have in their mind, especially in England, if they're at academies, they've got in their head, fuck here, I need to make it here, just because they might have to go back home and it might be like glorious back there. But we'll move on here just till when you were going to Villa. So you went to Aston Villa. How did that there kind of come about in itself?
Well, the cruciate injury fucking wrecked me. Obviously it was a crucial year for me, get into, you know, your final year before you can get a scholarship, and I missed from July till near enough April of, you know, nine months of the season, and I managed to go over to Aston Villa about a week before the season finished. And I remember we played Man City, and I done really, really well. I think I scored a couple of goals, and I managed to get myself a scholarship. Contract, 2-year scholarship at Villa after that game, which was, you know, I was very delighted with that, because there was no other option. There was no other clubs interested at that time because of the cruciate injury, so they were the only club that kept tabs on me, and luckily enough I earned myself a contract after that game.
That's quality, especially because at that time, high flying, like Premier League club. I was watching, see the one you done, that caught offside one, where you were saying that they would bring you over even when you were injured to keep you interested and stuff like that there. Like, what would you have done when you went over there?
Just they were just checking on the knee. You know, when I was under 16 here, you didn't have a physio, and you couldn't afford to go and get a private physio. Do you know what I mean? So you got to see the Cliftonville first team physio, but you might have seen him once every couple of weeks, or, you know, first team's priority, or not someone who's in the under 16s. So Villa had brought me over anytime I was off school to just keep tabs on me, to see how the knee's recovering and how I'm dealing with the injury and all.
When you were at the Reds, was there anybody that kind of you tried to stale yourself on in terms of football?
No, I used to love watching Liam Boyce. I think Liam Boyce was the best player I've ever watched in the Irish League. Growing up as a kid, that man just went out and played like he was in the street.
100%.
He was the best I've ever seen in a Red shirt. Like, so I think growing up watching the Reds, he was my favourite player.
Say as well, especially growing up at Cliftonville, when you've seen the likes of Rory Donnelly, he went across to Swansea. Liam Boyce went to Werder Bremen, which is probably the maddest transfer I've ever heard in the Irish League. Like, how that there materialised, I don't know. But it's good to see, I mean, you had players to look up to that have actually went across as well at that there time. So when you went to Aston Villa, a lot of people don't understand the reality of going over there, and you're 16, you're leaving your family. And I'd say that's a hard thing to do at that age.
It is, because you know what I was like growing up. We were always out and about. We were out in the streets. You were out kicking the ball about. You were just out. If you weren't in school, you were out. If you weren't at training, you were out. You know what I mean? You weren't sitting in the house.
Causing chaos.
It's causing mayhem. So when you get to that where you're straight over to England and you're training double sessions, you have to get the bus everywhere. You have to you know, if you missed the bus, you were fucked because you were on £100 a week. You couldn't afford to go get a taxi because a taxi would cost you 20 odd quid to get to the training. You've 80 quid to do the rest of the week. So it was difficult to adapt, and probably I didn't adapt for probably the first 6 months of being over there, and that's probably the hardest bit when you are a kid getting over to England, is the first 6 months.
I knew that you were close with Big Kev Toner and Swifty. Were they in the same team as you at that stage, or were they?
Well, Big Kev was a year older than me. He was a second year scholar, so his training schedules were different to mine. So luckily enough, we could put in digs together, which helped. And then Swifty had signed the year after, so it was Swifty ended up being in my team, which was decent, and you got, you know, more friendships built in your own side. But Big Kev definitely helped me settle in.
Do you think playing for Northern Ireland and seeing that set up in the international scene helped you adapt to playing that level of football? Because I'd say, of course, Northern Ireland would be probably higher level than to train the Cliftonville.
I don't know, it's a strange one because, you know, there's obviously, you're playing with different players at different clubs. You know, you might be playing with players who, you know, you think are better at your club but aren't in it, and it's just a strange one. I don't know if it would maybe a better players yet, because you were only training once a week. I think if you were training, you know, your 3-4 times a week is what we need to get to in this country anyway, then that's where you would find the real benefits from it. So
your daily routine when you went out to Villas, say in your first year, what would that there be? Like, what would it consist of? You're talking there 6 days a week, like. You're talking, you know, at the start of a week, it's where you're getting your double sessions in, and you obviously ease down going into your weekend game, but you're probably talking double session on Monday, double on a Tuesday, off Wednesday. You'd be doing a single session on a Thursday, late session on a Friday, and then your game on a Saturday. That's a tight enough week, like. It's tight considering what you've done previously before you got over. You know, it would have been alright for boys who are already in academies and, you know, in the English system, but coming from 2 nights a week to going over there, all you did was eat and sleep. See, when you started to get that there, we run a form and stuff like that there after your like injury. So when you went into, say, your 4th year, is that when you signed pro? So once I finished my 2-year scholar, I signed my pro. So you get into a professional contract after you finish your scholarship. Right, so that's 2 years and then So we'll move on just a wee bit here, because I've got, in terms of my notes and stuff like that there. So when you went up to your first team and you started training, like, see with the first team, what was that there like for you? Madness. The tempo of the game, just everything. It was just a big eye-opener for me. Loved it, like, but complete eye-opener for me. Is where I wanted to get to at that level. Like, it was just different gravy, like. Is there much of a difference between training with the under-23s and training with the first team? Oh, why, massively. You can't afford to take that extra touch. You know, you can get away with that extra touch at 23s level, at teams level. As soon as you get the first team, they'll eat you up. I'd say especially, again, to take no prisoners, who was the main man in the team at that time? It's Jacko. Jacko was brilliant. And you'd Gabby Blungahor, you'd Mika Richards was there, you'd Joe Cole, you'd Dama Traore in Zogbia. So big names who went for big money. So you know, they were very, very good. And then in the second year, when all the French boys got brought in, you'd Jordan Ferratut, they got in Sanchez from Colombia. They got in, who else was there up front? Some big names there, like. Was there anyone that you kind of like didn't get along with, or was there any hostility? No, I think the young boys coming up, listen, they just treat you like you're one of the first teamers. You know what I mean? That's just the way you got to take it. You can't feel sorry for yourself thinking you're a wee young player coming up here, because they just treat you like any other player. So I don't think there was any. You hear a lot of players saying that you only get really, or you could only get one chance to make an impression in training if you're called up to the first team. Do you think you performed well when you did go up to the first team? Oh, I did. Considering that, you know, Sherwood and
Ray Wilkins, who was his coach at the time, they'd had me up nearly every Thursday and Friday, so I was obviously doing something right.
You've went through a fair amount of managers, I feel. Like, what's the timeline there with your managers?
I had shit luck. I think it was six managers in 4 years. You had Lambert, you had Sherwood, Eric Black, Remy Gard, Di Matteo and Steve Bruce.
So Lambert at the very start, what was he like? And did he bring you up?
He had me up a couple of times. He had Roy Caine as his assistant. Roy Caine always used to slag me saying I was from Derry. It used to do my head in. But they were alright. He got the chop though. Lambert got sacked. And then Tim Sherwood came in and brought me up, but he seen me as a holding midfielder, and I think he played me in a couple of games, Forest Green and Wickham in the pre-season of playing as a holding mid, and I enjoyed it. I played anywhere, to be honest. There were times I was playing right back and centre back and all, but I just played anywhere. I didn't care. I was going to play anywhere.
Class. See, with Sherwood, when he brought you up and told you that you were going to be in the first team, how did you feel? Was it a sense of achievement, or?
Oh, you'd be buzzing, of course, but you know, I never made a competitive game, so at the end of the day, it was still, you know, I'd never really made my first team debut.
Yeah.
So it was great being up there, great experience, but you know, nothing to show for it type thing. Do you know 100%. What I mean? There's no one beside the appearance saying, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Is there anyone who kind of took you under, because again, in the first team there's a lot of big names. Was there anybody that kind of put their arm around you and tried to gauge you, or maybe they give you a bit of advice?
Gabby was really good. Gabby was spot on. He liked to help the younger ones. You know, Alan Hutton was good, and Zogbia, Gary Gardner. So there was a lot of players there that, you know, like to see people do well, and when you're mingling in with the boys as well, and you think you're a bit of cracks, I don't know, a bit of crack. They were speaking a fucking accent every week. But no, them boys were spot on. They were sound.
Did you ever give Hutton any abuse about ex-Rangers?
No.
Nah.
I ended up kicking me in training or something like that.
He was there for a good while too as well, wasn't he, Hutton?
He had some career. He was at Spurs. He was Rangers.
I went from Rangers to Spurs, I think it was, wasn't it? And then Big Meeks, apparently, like, what's he like as a person? Is he the way as you see him on TV?
I didn't spend much time with Richards now. With obviously training, but he was injured quite a bit. And I never got to see most of him, but I played with him a couple of times. He was solid pro like.
Out of that their team that you had, say, in under 23s, again, Jack Grealish is probably the one that's probably made the biggest name for himself. Is there any other players there that are doing well for themselves?
You've Callum O'Hare's at Coventry at the minute. He'll be signed by a Prem team in the next 6 to 12 months. I could bet any money on that. Like, he will be at a Prem club in the next 6 to 12 months. He's absolutely flying at Coventry. Keenan Davis is over at Udinese. He's had an alright career. He was at Watford last season. He's over at Udinese now. And then a couple of more, you know, playing in your League 1, League 2. Corey Blackett Taylor's just signed for Derby and all. So some of the boys have went on to have decent careers for themselves. Is
there, see your man, Keane Davis, is he English?
Yeah.
Yeah. You see a lot of players now that are going out there, the likes of Serie A and stuff, I think. Especially now, there's a lot of Irish players that are going out there because isn't there kind of like a limit, the amount of EU players?
Yeah, you can't, I don't think the down south can get across to the UK teams unless there's a transfer fee or something. Yeah. I'm not too sure about the whole ins and outs league, but they are going over the German leagues and the Italian leagues now. Can
you tell us about at their match at the Emirates with
the final?
Yeah, the final.
It was unbelievable. We'd thought Arsenal were just going to play their 23 team. We've seen the team sheet and just went, we're fucked.
Who was on?
Santi Cazorla, Coughlin, Joel Campbell, Chambers. We went 1-0 up, but I think we just made them angry.
Actually, from kicking up the match. All the lads leave us in his helmet.
But we ended up getting hammered, but it was a great experience playing against them type of players like.
And then come to the end of your Aston Villa time, who was that there with? Steve Bruce?
Aye.
Yeah, and did you see it coming really?
No, it was a big shock, and it probably hit me for way longer than it should have. I think I got released about a week before the season was meant to be over, and Villa were obviously in the Championship, so the season went on a wee bit longer, but clubs were wrapping up for the summer, and it was shit, but that's not football. That's football, that's the way it goes, and unfortunately I just wasn't at that level to continue.
Steve Bruce, how was he with you? Was he...
Oh, he was fine with me. He had me up training with the first team. I was in a couple of the squads. I remember being in the squad against Fulham. Just unfortunate, never made the bench. And I was training, but like I say, a week before the season ended, I ended up getting released. But they did have a lot of midfielders on the books. But unfortunately, I was fucking 8 for 9 ranked.
Fuck's sake. See, with being released, is there any support put in place for you?
No.
For after? Nah.
No.
Is there any for scholars? Is there anything put in place for the Emmons?
No.
Nah.
No.
That's a bit mad, like, because
it is, and I think if I knew someone, I didn't know anybody who went across the water before I went across, and I didn't know anybody who'd been released when I was coming back. So when there's a lot more players now who you can you speak to. You go, wait, what do you reckon now? Should I just come home or should I stay over? And I think, looking back at it, if I had that someone to look up to or speak to, if I had any advice now for a kid who got released from England, I would say stay over in England as long as possible. If it means going to a conference club or going to Scotland, just try and stay in the full-time game for as long as possible, because you might never get that chance to go back across again.
So you left Villa, and then you came back till Ireland. You went to Galway. How did that there kind of materialise for you? Just,
it was the Galway manager had got videos of me. I'm not sure how, and they were in a relegation battle, and he just rang me up and said, "Listen, we need a midfielder here. Do you fancy coming down?" And I went on trials to West Brom, waste of time. Went to Dundee United, didn't enjoy it. Went to a couple of other clubs and just didn't enjoy it, and wasn't feeling it. And then obviously I come home for a few months, and then we went to Galway. We went and tried it. Here's me, going to try what's the worst that can happen. Went there for 3 months and absolutely loved it. And Shane Keegan, the Galway manager, definitely got my confidence back. Yeah. Loved it, and then moved on to Derry.
You in Dundee, like, I couldn't picture it.
No.
You living out there?
No, I stayed in a gaff. Brett Long was there at the time. Brett was looking after me, to be fair to him, but stayed in a gaff, and fucking boys had their names written, cartons of milk and all in the fucking house. I was just going, nah.
It's not for me.
Took me in the hotel. I'm not staying there. Fucking boys slobbering about who's drinking, who's milking all. Nah.
Galway, yous went down that year, but yous actually had a very good, well, you had personally a good season. I
think when I signed in August, the season was ending at the end of October. I think we only lost 2 games out of the remaining 15 games. It was just such a bad run before I'd signed.
Yeah.
But it was a great team. Just too many draws. I don't even think they were getting beat at the start of the season. They were just dropping way too many points with draws, and unfortunately I think we went down by a point or something.
I went down, I remember going down with Turley and your man there, and watched the Dundalk match. It might have been...
I think it would be my debut.
The League Cup, was it?
No, I think it was my debut, aye.
And fuck, that team, I thought it was a good team.
Well, that was the team that went the group stages, Europa League.
See, that's quality. And most Evans went across the water, did they?
Aye.
Yeah.
Darrell Horgan and all went across, McElhinney went across, they had some team.
That is a serious team. Then you see the state they're in now as well. Aye. Living down Dundalk as well, just with work. It's good you didn't go early. The place would depress you at times. So, at Galway, was that when you first got your international clearance to play for the Republic?
Was it? Can't remember. I think it was before I just signed for Galway, but obviously I continued my form playing first team football, and I kept being called into the squads. But again, just unfortunate, there was so many good players in that squad. You had Declan Rice playing centre mid, you had Josh Cullen playing centre mid, Ryan Manning all playing, Dak at the minute flying at Arsenal, but Josh Cullen playing every week for Burnley in the Prem, Ryan Manning playing every week in the Championship for Southampton. So it was just unfortunate.
You've seemed to have had a bad run of luck when it comes to some players in your position, but it just shows the standard that you're at. They are there as well.
It's
in
just,
the fold.
that's just football, and that you can't cry over spilt milk. It is what it is. Like, do you know what I mean? Shit happens.
So I remember actually an article coming out. I think it was on, may have been the Belfast Telegraph or something, when you finally made that switch. Michael O'Neill was not pleased. Did you get any criticism about the switch in terms of any fans or any hate online?
You get the usual stuff, like, but it was my decision. You know, I had a lot of shit go on with the 17s and 19s, and you know, I wasn't picked for the 17s, and then I was in the 19s, and just had a fallout with the manager there, and I come home from the 19 Euros qualifiers, and this isn't for me. I'd wanted to go make a switch, so I went and done it. That was it, like, you know, and I don't regret what I've done. You know, I'm working for the Northern Ireland youth age groups at the minute, you know, helping them, and it doesn't mean, you know...
there's no bitterness or hatred or anything.
No, definitely not. It was just a football decision, what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So, when you were called up to the Ireland squad, how did that there come about in terms of your feeling and stuff like that there? Did you notice the quality in the squad when you went into it?
Definitely, it was a good team, good squad. I think we should have done better. We should have qualified for the Euros that year. I think we finished third. We threw it away with a couple of games to go. And then we had Germany. Germany gave us an ass whooping for 2 games. Absolutely whooped us in 2 of the games. But I remember dropping points, like away to Kosovo, being 1-0 up. We should have won that. And I think with Drew, Azerbaijan and all, you know, there was games there we should have won.
Yeah.
And I remember conceding last kick of the game against Norway out there with Odegaard. Odegaard scored in the last minute. I think he was a joy to watch.
I'd say
he was brilliant.
So
he was brilliant, and he was at Real Madrid at the time. So he was an absolute player.
I read somewhere, I think he, like at Real Madrid, when he first signed, he was making something like 60 grand a week or something. That's mad.
Frightening.
So you left Galway, and what options were kind of on the table? Was there an option to stay at Galway?
There was, and I would have stayed if they didn't get relegated. I would have.
Yeah.
But Derry come on to me. Derry and Dundalk. At the time, Dundalk were the champions and full of machines. You know, you had Robbie Benson, Stevie O'Donnell, Patrick McElhenney, Michael Duffy, John Mountney, serial winners in that team. Chris Shields, forgetting him. And there was no chance of me getting in that, playing every single week. And then Derry offered me to play every week. You know, Aaron McEnev and Nicky Lowe, they were only 2 fit midfielders at the club at the time. Yeah. And I said I'd better chance of playing there.
And how did you enjoy your time there?
Loved it. Very unfortunate the way it ended. You know, we'd lost a couple of big players throughout the season. Ronan Curtis went to Portsmouth. We'd lost Rory Patterson. And a lot of injuries. Nicky Lowe, Conor McDermott and all. We had a lot of injuries. But listen, it got me my first senior trophy, which was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Probably the best day I've had in football. Winning that League Cup at the Brandywell, like, just in front of all your friends, all your family, and then everybody probably just winning their first trophy, which was a special day.
And you won it with Ronan as well? In the squad, yeah.
He scored the first goal.
He's been at a fair few clubs for each other as well.
He's like a bad smell, can't get rid of him.
See as well, did your granddad play for Derry?
Aye.
So you've been at a few clubs your granddad's played for as well?
Aye. No, but doesn't it, I think, you know, we work well together. Ronan was absolutely brilliant at that time at Derry, especially only being, I think he was only 17 or 18. Managed to get 15 odd goals, like, at senior men's football at that age was just brilliant.
Yeah.
And then both of us went to a cruise. Didn't work out for either of us at the cruise, and now we've ended up at Cliftonville, and both of us flying high at the minute. Definitely,
like, arguably, I would say, I actually had, because there's a few lads down on work who are mad in the Cliftonville, and I said to them that you were coming on. They said arguably 2 best players in the league, really.
Aye, we're both doing well at the minute, though.
You are both doing well. Just to throw it out there as well. So you've got 10 goals and 15 assists so far this season. 25 goal involvements.
It's alright.
All comps you take out there. Your goal yesterday was an absolute peach.
2 strikers missing sitters too and putting on a plate for them. And assists should be then 20s like.
You can see kind of from going to Cliftonville games and going to the Irish League games, you can tell the quality that you bring in like in the centre. I think it's visible for, if I can see it, like there's others that definitely can see it.
Aye.
So you were at Derry. You won, was it the EA Sports Cup?
League Cup.
And was that before your first international goal, or was that?
No, I would have been after.
After?
Would have been after.
After. So you and Ronan again scoring for Republic of Ireland against Iceland.
Both on our 21s debut, I think it was. Aye. That was a great night. I think we won 2-1. I scored the first, Ronan scored the second.
Know what I mean? That's meant to be.
I was in our really great night for the two of us.
Was that there? Would Declan Rice have been playing in that there match? Or
I can't remember.
So I'll not say much more on him anyway. But I'm sure he's a great lad. So you went from Derry, you ended up going to Cruise. So see the League of Ireland compared to the Irish League. Is there much of a quality difference in it?
Aye, there is. The League of Ireland, it's a lot more tactical. There's a lot more working into it. And then again, the teams are all full time. You know, the extra sessions definitely help you down there. But coming into this league has grown over the last 4 or 5 years I've been into it. You know, the technical levels are getting better. There's more full time teams. There's more, you know, teams challenging. It's just on the way up.
How did Cruise come about?
I was coming out of contract at Derry, and you know, you can speak to clubs when you're down your last few months of your contract, and Cruise had approached me, and I like what they were going to do. You know, they were full time. They just won the league, and they were looking at a midfielder, and I think it was just too good of an offer that they turned down at the time. And I went for it, and listen, I won a few trophies. I learnt a lot of things, and that's it. I've no bad words to say about the club. You know, brilliant people around it. Barney Thompson, Gillian, the staff around the place were absolutely brilliant. Loved it down there. Just unfortunate it didn't work out on the pitch. Just
round the corner as well from you. See, coming back to the Irish League, because you probably had a bit of doubt in your mind coming back to the League of Ireland. Was there any doubts going from the League of Ireland into the Irish League? Did you think it was maybe a step down, or did you think it's just another step in your career? No,
I just thought it was a chance that I wanted to take. I hadn't been home in, what is this, saying for a Cruise, 22 I think I signed for the Cruise, so I hadn't been home in 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years, so I had too good of an offer to turn down, to live at home again and, you know, be with my family.
I'm sure your family were buzzing to have you back as well. So around this year time was the start of RH coaching. Mm-hmm. Before that there, would you have got your coaching qualifications?
You'd done them in England. You just done your level 1s, your level 2s. But during lockdown, all the boys used to just go out and do a few sessions.
Yeah.
And then it was actually Cassie had said to me, you should start something up. You're not bad at it. Here's me eye. Well, see how it goes, and haven't looked back since. Was there anybody around the time had that going as well, in terms of the one-to-one or group coaching? I hadn't heard of it. It's just something that I just took up on, and you know, like I say, I haven't looked back. How do you find it working with kids? Love it. Brilliant. You know, different abilities, helping people. You know, I get the same enjoyment and pleasure of teaching a kid who's at the top of their game and the best in the country improve on something, that's someone who's, you know, really low on confidence and, you know, thinks they're average, and helping them as develop. You get the same buzz out of it as long as the kids enjoying the session and, you know, finding development and getting better. It's a lot. That's what we're in the game for. 100%. It's good to hear that there as well, especially still playing and stuff now. Like, can you tell the difference between back in your day and the kids now? It's a whole different generation now. You know, like back in there's less and less street footballers coming about, and when we do get the street footballers, I think we try and turn them into not street footballers,
Yeah.
but that's what makes the kids so unique and so, standoutish. I hate the old shout of, he's a wee slobber, or he fucks about and do that, but that's what I used to do.
Yeah.
So I can always try and see the best out of a kid. Well, that's what makes the kid so unique. He always got that wee temper on the pitch, but fucking hell, he's a bulldog. Do you know what I mean? We need to get that best out of him rather than take that out of his game and then put him into like a robot type thing.
I was watching something there just online 2 days ago where they were saying there's not a lot of flair players. Well, not in that their way, but a lot of players that like Ronaldo's and Ronaldinho's and stuff like that. They can take the game by the scruff, where it's more of a team game now. Mm-hmm. Do you think that there's less individuality and it's more about the collective?
I don't know. I still think you don't see the tricks and the flicks like you used to now, but you still see moments of absolute brilliance. Winning your games you see wingers coming in, beating 2-3 men and whipping in the top corners. I still see that, and I still see that in kids what they can do. But it's just trying to whatever they're good at, keep doing it rather than taking it out of their game, and maybe instead of cutting in and taking up someone on 1v1, coming back and passing out and keeping possession the other way. I like to see a winger get at them, and I love the old shout, get at him when I'm coaching a kid. Get at him.
Love it.
Leave him for dirt.
So with RH's coaching, you've done the likes of your coaching badges, your UEFA, is it A licence as well? License, have you done your pro licence?
No,
nah.
Not yet.
So going on to do your A licence, I see a lot of former players come over here to do it for the IFA. When you were doing your course, was there any standout player, ex-players there?
There was a few. Lee Caramel was over, Big Gareth Macaulay, Aaron Hughes. Benjani. Remember him? Benjani was on our course. So
won't forget.
With good solid pros there, and then pros of the RC. Michael Galt, Lee Feeney, Big Dackie O'Hara was on us. So we had a great group.
Lethal. See, when you were doing this, were you still at the cruise?
Still at the cruise.
Still at the cruise. You've had a few good games. You played Wolves twice and nearly had them. You just went 1-0 up.
I 1-0 up, but again, just made them angry. Jimenez scored about fucking 12 seconds later.
Very unlucky as well, away.
We held our own. I nearly scored from
I remember
volley.
Yeah.
So I whipped the top off her. But we held our own against them. They played a full strength team and 1-0 the 93rd minute, and then unfortunately we conceded last kick of the game for 2-0, which really cut the tie down. But great experience.
But that just goes to show as well, especially going away and holding your own out there, because they kind of it was their first game in Europe. Was it not ever, but in a while, I would say.
Aye.
And they made a day of it.
There wasn't an empty seat.
Class.
It was completely sell out.
Would that have been the biggest crowd you would have played at?
Yeah.
At that stage?
Yeah, I would say so.
Remember you telling me about, was it Gibbs White asked for a drink of water off someone?
Can't remember.
I'm trying to think of the cruise team who was there, and one of the players told him he kicked the ball away or something like that there. Jordan,
can't remember.
Was it Forsyth maybe? Not too sure, but I remember you telling me that there years ago, and I was like, fuck, that's a fucking gay.
I can't remember. I remember Sean O'Neill kept on saying to him, you smell great for some reason. He's an absolute header. Sitting doing that, telling the other fella you were smelling good.
You played against Traore as well, didn't you? There, old teammate.
Aye, he was. Charlie O'Rourke done well to keep up with his pace that day. I wouldn't know running after him.
He's a big lad.
The Buffalo.
Very big. It's insane. Especially I heard he doesn't do weight training and stuff like that there, but that must be a myth.
And then he went on to Barcelona as well after he'd been at Wolves, so he's had some career.
Where's he at now?
Haven't a clue.
Haven't a clue, aye. And the exact same. So, at RH, was a part of your, because I know that you done it in Seaview at the time, was that like a goodwill thing from Cruise, or did you have the
No, the Cruise, to be fair, wasn't being used, and I had just asked, if anybody wasn't using it. At that time, it was just me and Aaron Donnelly and Sean Paul, so there was only 3 of us at the time.
Yeah.
So there wasn't that much of a hassle, but we've obviously built it up to near 10 of us now. So
you've got a good squad now. So you started off with Aaron Donnelly and Sean Paul, and I'd say that's given them as a wealth of experience in terms of coaching you took on Jordan Owens as well, didn't you?
Big Chicken helped out at the camp, so he started up his own one now as well. So, like I say, the experience from previous camps has probably helped him to move on to that.
So you do the elite camps and stuff now, and then you start off from as young as 3, is it? In terms of coaching, was it always like that, or was it just one-on-one at the start and then
it was just one-on-one at the start? It was, you know, just building relationships and, you know, building your clientele. I remember doing 10 to 12 hour shifts in the Grove, you know, trying to build it as much as possible. Rain, hail, snow, sun, whatever it was, I was out in the Grove grafting 10, 12 hour shifts, just trying to build it as much as possible. And, you know, like I say, the hard work pays off.
Definitely, you've got it out there. And then you started taking on more coaches. How did you kind of find that there in terms of, because I'd say, are you the one who does the rotas and stuff like that there, who's taking what? How did you find doing like all that there? Was it new to you or easy?
No, I think it just comes I don't think there was that much, you know, learning into it. I think it happens. I'm a well organised person, to be honest, and like I like everything organised, and I don't leave no stone unturned. You know what I mean? I like to have everything sorted, and they were the two boys that I met up. You know, I already knew Sean Paul, but I was only getting to know Aaron. But I knew, you know, he played for Cliftonville, and he came in and done a couple of sessions during the lockdown. And here's me, he'd be a great fit.
Did you expect this year, because now we're 4 years into it, did you expect this to be a short-term project, or did you think, fuck here, can I actually make a good...
This was a long term. This was the goal was to get it to this stage and build it even more than what it is. You know, still big plans of growing the business over the next 3 to 4 years.
Tell you what, your tracksuits are fucking quality as well.
They're decent.
They are.
Club sport, do them.
So, at the cruise, you won a few trophies there. What was that there? Was the
Irish Cup and the County Antrim.
You didn't play in the Irish Cup final.
No.
What was the crack with that there?
I remember playing against Ballymena the previous Saturday, and I got a right fucking knee in my arse, and my glutes were absolutely dead the whole week, but continued to train with a limp just because I wanted to play.
Yeah.
But just never got on, just one of them things.
You had a few good players there as well at the cruise. Your man, Jared Doherty, was he at Derry with you as well?
He was the keeper, he was at Derry with me, he wasn't bad.
Rory Patterson as well, wasn't he?
Big
there?
RP was there as well. Two great lads that helped me at Derry as well.
Yeah.
Two great lads.
Rory Patterson's been everywhere. Like.
He has.
Absolutely.
And loved him. Great pro, great lad.
Was Gavin White part of that team, or was that just...
No, I think he was away before I came.
It's good to see players, the likes of him and Mark Six, actually make it over there.
Doing well.
Players from the Irish League. It seems to be the people that actually are becoming the success over in England are players that played a few years here and then went over. Because I've seen there's been a lot of interest here in your brother. Seen Wrexham and stuff. Sports Bible done a post about him. So it's lethal to see. I'd love to see him go across.
There's the media coverage now has got better. You know, you have a game on BBC once a week. The Niffle, Twitter and all, they're posting all the stuff every single week, the media coverage. And I just think it's just a league that's growing. It's producing good players. You know, I think the last player to go across was Trey Hume.
Yeah.
Who's established himself in the full international and playing every week. I think he'll be in the Prem next season as well. And then you've obviously Sean Moore and Patrick Kelly, who's went across in the last 6 to 12 months, who are both at that West Ham, doing all right for themselves, you know, progressing, developing in full-time football.
I've seen, I think he's on a wee bit of a run now, Sean Moore. I heard he scored against Zagreb.
About time.
Yeah, so hopefully he does well. It's great to see lads, like local lads, go out there and do well. So your exit from Cruise, was that there planned? Did you expect to be leaving Cruise?
Well, no, because I signed a new 3-year deal that summer.
Especially about here, a 3-year contract's a big...
It's a big thing, and you know what, I loved it, my time there, but we came back and I just wasn't playing. And I wasn't sitting on the bench. I'm way too good of a player to be sitting on the bench, and I just made my decision. I think I remember playing away to Larne and we got beat 2-1. I didn't even get on. and it just went. That was it.
Just
I went in and
focus.
handed in a transfer request, and at the time I think Crews were top of the league, and then you had Larne and Linfield, and Cliftonville were 7th or something. And they said you're not going to anyone. It's in the title thing. So, but my eyes set on Cliftonville. I liked the way Paddy McLaughlin was playing. I remember them beating the Crews on Boxing Day, and I liked the way they were playing. I knew a load of boys, and there was only one place I was going to go.
Yeah. The prodigal son returns home, as I would say. So you went to Cliftonville, and did you have any real expectations going into Cliftonville, or did you know that this is just going to be, it's a long-term project and you're in it for the long haul?
I just wanted, I don't like chopping and changing, I don't, and I wanted to be settled, and I signed a 3.5-year deal when I first signed for them. It was a 3.5-year contract, so again I was planning my long-term future, but I was there to get Cliftonville challenging again. I wasn't here just to make up the numbers and maybe qualify for Europe. I was coming in to the full expectation. I'm going to try and make Cliftonville challenge again, and over the last 3 seasons we've definitely done that.
100%. Paddy McLaughlin, was he a driving force behind you joining?
He was very keen on me. He was very keen. And again, they needed a midfielder in there, and it just suited everything that I wanted to do.
Happy days. It's good having you at the Reds again, especially because they're doing so well. You won the League Cup last year, was it? Or
2 years.
2 years ago. And I've been to a few matches before, but that is probably the best match I've ever been at.
It was amazing. Brilliant day. But like you say, it was from, one hand you're getting beat 2-0 in the middle of the cup final, and so many teams would have caved in. But we've got that attitude now in the team where we're not giving up, and you can see it more this season as well. It's going right to a final whistle.
So when you moved back to Cliftonville, again it was your boyhood club. Were you excited about the challenge ahead? Like, what was your kind of mindset behind it? Because you did have, was Joe there? Yeah, Joe was there.
It was just getting down to work. It was, like I said, Cliftonville were 7th when I signed, and they were like, we need to get up and for Europe. Like, we managed to qualify for the playoffs. We got beaten in the final to Larne, but the end of that season gave us good hope getting into the next season, and then we made some good additions into the squad who still now are performing every week. Johnny Addis and players like that just coming in and cementing themselves and playing week in, week out and performing.
Last year you had a good run. You took it down to the final day, wasn't it?
2 seasons ago.
2 seasons ago was that there? So that was when Caine coach, was he there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he? I'm not sure. Yeah, I think so.
What's he like? Because I knew there was a big thing when he signed for Cliftonville.
No, big coach. He was brilliant.
Grand.
He was at Glenavon and he'd wanted out. He come up to us and he was brilliant.
I was a bit shocked when he signed it, just ex-Cruise man, stuff like that, or Cruise captain. But he seemed to be like a very good player for the club.
Done really well. Top pro.
With that, their Cliftonville team now, is there any players that you think do have the potential to go across the water?
You've obviously Ronan, who's firing at all cylinders, but it's probably his last year. They get a crack, he's getting old. But some of the young players coming through, Shea Kearney, outstanding this season. Oren Casey plays like a man that's played 500 games. Outstanding this season, really cementing his own position there. And then you have a few young players coming through the ranks with Stevie McGuinness, Ryan Corrigan, Kevin Hawthorne, all solid young players coming through and learning their trade and hopefully go on to have good careers.
So the RH coaching is now in solitude. Is that another thing which was added into the contract, or do they charge you for that there as well?
No, it's like you sort them out. It's like an agreement type thing, but you sort them out though.
See the way you have the likes of a big staff now. Do you think you're going to move on and get your own facility, or do you think just stay at solitude really?
No. Listen, if I'm not stupid or naive, it's nothing lasts forever.
Yeah.
It might get this stage where I'm at the old and And who knows, in 4 or 5 years' time, you'll be 32, 33, and your legs don't work no more. And no, but here, that's just the way football is. And you know what, I've got plans for stuff when that comes to it.
Yeah. So you're a coach now for Northern Ireland as well. You went to Holland, was it? There? How was that there?
Brilliant. That was my proper first trip away for taking us in a tournament environment. Like, we managed to go all the way and win it. We won the last kick of the game against Club Bruges, so it was a great experience.
I think it's harder for players, especially growing up now in the social media. Social media was about when we were younger, but growing up in that there now, in the social media generation, do you think it's harder for players compared to when you were younger?
I think more players are getting spotted now because of social media, but the social media is just, the amount of shit you see on it is mental.
And I post
especially from young players, and you are the main culprit.
I am. I'm mustard at that, I must say. But with RH, I'm coaching. You do the likes of your elite camps, then you do your Easter camps, your summer camps, winter camps. Are they challenging the run because it's a full week of just flat to the mat?
No. The elite camps are all planned by me, and then the camps are for kids, because at the end of the day, a lot of coaches don't realise as well that they're kids. You know, we run them camps for them, like 4 to 10-year-olds or 4 to 12-year-olds, and it's just fun and games. You come in, you play Champions League, you play World Cups, you play, you know, technique games.
Yeah.
It's for fun. There's no coaching in it at all. It's just pure fun, because at the end of the day, the kids are that stressed and, you know, worked out of, you know, having to be the best at their team or having to be this. We just want them to come in and enjoy themselves. They're off school. They're here to enjoy themselves with new people, some friends that they already know, and just enjoy themselves for the days that they're at the camp.
Do you have any kids that were there 4 years ago that are still coming to this day? Yeah.
Plenty.
Must be. It's class to see them grow and develop as well. In that aspect, is there any standout players that have went across that you've coached?
Probably Francis Turley would be the main one. You know, he started off with me at the Grove and then got himself into that JD Academy. He's now at Celtic. So Francis has really matured from, you know, a boy into a young man now, and he's really shriving at Celtic. He's
doing well. Well, heard he's doing well anyway. But it's good to see, especially lads from about the local area, going over there and getting through opportunity. What's the plans for RH in the future? Are you able to say what the plans are? Or?
Just growing.
Just growing.
I can't really get into the details of what I've got exactly planned, but the plans are really good. And I'm hoping in 3 to 4 years' time I've built partnerships with clubs in England, and I'm building relationships with clubs in England to try and benefit players from here of getting their first opportunity over there.
Happy days. So again, this is your best personal season. You've got your 10 goals, your 15 assists. For Cliftonville, you are 3 points off the top. I think you are all in the same amount of games as well. What do you think of this season? Do you think even if you don't win the league, it's still a success?
No, we need to qualify for Europe first and foremost. If we don't qualify for Europe, then the season's been an absolute disaster. You know what I mean? If you have nothing to show for it, then no one remembers second or third place. Simple as that. We're 3 points off it with 10 games to go. Let's give it a crack. I think it's boys now. It's time to start believing.
A lot that can happen in those 10 games. Still have to play Linfield as well. I think one thing to win the league, you need to beat Linfield. You
need to beat whoever's on top of you. Linfield and Larne are on top of us. We've got them in the next 3 weeks between next Tuesday and then at the middle of March. So you have to beat the teams ahead of you. Simple as that.
So this here should be coming out, I think, on, is it the 28th of Feb or the 29th, whatever one it is, this here month. So hopefully by then we'll have a clear picture and you are actually on top of the league. But again, you have a great squad there. You've got your wee man Connor Stewart, he looks good. Ronan as well, and then Joe. People seem to say each year you hear he's done it, like he's done out and
Never.
still banging them in.
Never.
Like he's
Man is a living legend.
Ben Wilson as well. What's he been like? Because I've seen he's
He's had a great
he's
start this season, but he's picked up weak calf injury and he's trying to recover from that. But Ben's probably the best one-touch finish. One-touch finishing. I haven't seen anybody better than it.
So I'm going to throw out a few names here of players you have played with, and I just want you to describe them in one word. Jack Grealish.
Unbelievable.
Declan Rice.
Machine.
Charles Zogby.
Funny.
Traore.
The Buffalo.
Joe Cole.
Incredible.
Abonahor.
Legend.
Kev Turner.
Header.
Joe the Goal.
Alright, said legend. Can't say legend again.
You can't.
Goal machine.
Goal machine. And Ronan Curtis.
Nut job.
Not job. Who would you say has been the hardest player you've played against and why?
In any game.
In England, in the League of Ireland, and
Santi Cazorla. Santi Cazorla or Chalmatinho. Either of them two was just fuck. Running in quicksand against them two. Could get near them. League of Ireland, Chris Shields. Chris Shields was a monster at Dundalk, and I was just a wee pup at Derry City. Started to do a bit alright against them now, but still a top player. And then in this league, always have good battles with Sule.
he's a Rolls Royce.
We've always have good battles, to be honest. I'll get one over on him, he'll get one on me. It's just whoever wins that individual battle between me and him usually comes out on top of the game.
So we kind of went over it earlier on. The best piece of advice that you could give someone starting off in football?
Probably believing in yourself. I think the main attribute about me, and a lot of people say to me as well, is just about my belief in yourself and as an individual. Because there's players in this league that I know that are technically better than me, but I believe I'm a better player than them. It's as simple as that. And I might not be, but in my head I am the best player on that pitch, and I'll go out thinking that, and
that's what's going to happen.
It's 9 times out of 10 it's going to work, and it's been working. It's been working over the last few years. But again, just believing in yourself.
I think it's definitely like one of those ones that you might be the most gifted, but no one is going to work out or outwork you.
No,
in that there aspect.
Definitely not. And that's just what happened to me in England. I was a striker. There were 4 or 5 strikers who were all better strikers than me. I'm not fucking sitting on no bench here. I'll get a position where I can play. I tried left wing. The left winger was better than me. I tried right wing. The right winger was better than me. I'm fit. I can run. I can pass. I went into centre mid, and I'm going to make this position my own. And I've turned into a centre midfielder over the last 10 years.
Class. What's the worst piece of advice you've ever got?
Worst piece of advice I've ever got?
Yeah. Or is there anything that stands out that someone's told you and you've just went to yourself, nah, I don't agree with it?
I don't know.
Probably an easier one. The best piece of advice you've ever got?
I remember Ray Wilkins pulling me to the side and about just extra training, and then I was just tunnel visioned on it.
Yeah.
I was just working on. I wish I'd just done the extra training. The way the kids are doing it now. 10, 11, 12. I didn't do an extra training until I was 18 years of age. You know, I've just missed out on so many years of trying to nearly being better. But I don't know.
I'm a firm believer in no regrets. Just that everything you've done, every mistake, every good thing has led you to where you are now and the person see that you are now. Is there anything that you regret?
No. And like I say, a load of people say to me, will you change anything from your time at Villa? No. No, because what's the point in looking back 10 years ago? Because you can't.
Yeah.
You can't do anything about it. I hate that question. What would you do if you were 10 years ago? Fuck, I don't have a time machine, so it's not going to fucking work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Simple as that. So I hate that. I'll not change anything that I've done so far going into my life.
It's good to hear. Is there any standout managers? Because you've been through a fair amount of managers. Who's your standout?
Well, growing up, I have to give big credit to Derry, Cliftonville. Definitely made me into the player and believed in me when not many other people believed in me. Big Stefan Seaton as well, County Antrim. Amazing man who helped me throughout my youth career. Shane Keegan was super. Kenny Shields was super. Paddy and Jim, all super managers, and then obviously Tim Sherwood at Villa was brilliant with me. So I've had some good coaches and managers there.
Aye, that's one thing that I actually meant to ask you before about Jim, because I knew he was at Dundalk and stuff like that there, the manager, and then I went on just to look and see who he's played for. He's played for some big teams. He's managed some big teams as well, and I'd say he's managed some big players. So compared to Paddy and Jim, is there? Well, obviously there's a change in style, maybe a change in training, but is there anything that Jim's, because this season's going so well and you're doing such well on a personal basis, is there anything that Jim's kind of tweaked or changed?
I think he's just worked under Paddy, which I loved. I was the focal point of everything, starting off out of possession, you know, sprinting about, and it was only lasting 65, 70 minutes, where Jim's now, you know, hold your pace, you go when you ever feel like you're going type thing. I'm starting at 90 minutes, but both great managers that both got the best out of me.
So I think that's really it. Rory, I'd just like to say thanks for coming on.
100%.
I really appreciate it.